7 miles from the nearest shore of Scotland, a black crag rises from the North Atlantic like a tombstone thrust up from the deep. The men who dwelt there called it Flannan Moor, the Great Isle, though nothing about it was great save the terror it would one day hold. In the December of 1900, 3 keepers tended its solitary light, and not one of them would ever leave it alive to tell what they had seen. James Ducat, principal keeper, steady and devout, Thomas Marshall, young and watchful, and Donald MacArthur, a man who feared no storm, for he had weathered 100 of them before. Together they held the flame that warned 1,000 ships from the rocks below, a duty passed down through generations, unbroken until that winter. But duty in that place would soon prove no shield at all. On the 26th of December, the steamer Arctur passed beneath the tower and searched the darkness for its beam, and found none. Days without a signal were reported to the mainland, but the storms raged without mercy, and no vessel dared approach. When at last the relief ship Hesperus fought through the waves toward Flannan Moor, its crew called out across the water, and the only answer was the shriek of gulls. Joseph Moore, the relief keeper, climbed alone up the worn stone steps, his voice echoing through halls that should have rung with the sounds of men at their labor. The entrance gate hung unlatched, swinging on its hinge in the wind like something left in haste or in terror. Inside, the beds lay made, the clock had stopped, and the lighthouse itself stood as silent as a crypt. On the table sat a meal, half-eaten, a chair overturned behind it, as though its occupant had risen too quickly to ever sit again. The oilskins of 2 keepers hung untouched upon their hooks, though no man of Flannan Moor would dare step into a winter gale without them. Only Donald MacArthur's coat was missing, as if he alone had gone out to face whatever had come. In the keeper's log, the final entries grew stranger with each passing line. Ducat had written of a fierce storm on the 15th, though the mainland recorded calm seas that very day. By the following morning, he wrote only that MacArthur was weeping, and that all 3 men, hardened sailors every one, were now praying together like frightened children. The last entry, dated the 9th of December, read simply, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." And then nothing more was ever written. Investigators found the west landing torn asunder, iron railings twisted 100 feet above the waterline, a crane hurled from its mount as if some vast hand had seized the island itself. A box of ropes, kept far above the reach of any ordinary tide, had vanished entirely. Something monstrous, it seemed, had risen from that December sea, and it had wanted more than driftwood. Boats combed the surrounding waters for weeks. Nets dragged the black depths. Cliffs were searched stone by stone. No bodies were ever recovered. No wreckage. No final cry preserved in any bottle cast upon the tide. The 3 keepers of Flannan Moor had vanished as completely as if the ocean itself had swallowed their very memory. The local fishermen would not speak the truth aloud. Not the truth they believed, at least. They murmured instead of the island's older name, the Isle of the Phantoms, said to have claimed sailors since long before the light was ever built. Some whispered that MacArthur had gone mad in the storm and cast his companions to the rocks before the sea claimed him too. Others swore. To this day, the automated lamp of Flannan Moor turns its beam across the empty water, over the same stones where 3 men once knelt and begged whatever they saw for mercy. No plaque, No memorial marks the spot where the meal went cold and the chair was left lying on its side. And sailors passing in the dark still say that on the darkest nights of December, if you watch the tower long enough, you can see a fourth shadow moving behind the glass, tending a light no living hand was ever meant to keep.